So if you're not having much luck or you're due a pull right now, perhaps just have a little dip in there if you're not playing in there at the moment and just see how your luck holds out. People, welcome to another edition of that finger tapping frenzy that we all know and love as WWE SuperCard. With me, Big Jim, here at BadLadDad HQ. Today is a Friday, it's day 2, Ring Dummy Dim Dum. And I thought I was going to have an easy time of it. I thought I was going to have a weekend off virtually because those of you who saw last weekend, I missed Jeff Hardy by 20 odd points. Totally my own fault. Totally my own fault. Nobody else to blame. So I thought, well, I don't need to go for it this week. But the word on the grapevine is that the WrestleMania card and the heroic stretch of Ring Dummy Dim Dum is Dolph Ziggler. Dolphy Zig would give me a pro, so I can't ignore that. So I've got to go for the five card trick. Got to do it. Anything else to report to you just before we start doing a bit of Ring Dummy Dim Dum? Yes. A few King of the Rings, couple of finals, didn't win. And a couple of semi-finals, didn't win. So nothing since last week's win, which featured in one of the videos. But there was a fusion, which I collected. I want general cards, you numpty. It is Titans I want to go on to show you that I'd got a single page, if you remember. Single page. Wanted to try and desperately get another. You can see I've already got Becky. And I got. Wait for it, wait for the blue. Wait for the splash of blue. There you go. It's Johnny Chinar. Now, it's not a bad card. And yes, if I get a pro of that, that's pretty cool. But, and here's the rub. When it comes to the fusions, I've now used all of the cards that I'd left up at, what tier was it? SummerSlam tier. I'd had 4 or 5 fusions that I'd stopped at SummerSlam tier. I've used all those fusion cards now. So I'm having to start from scratch. If you look at it, to get a Titan card, you've got, like, what's that? 3, 7, 15, 20, so that's a day. I can't remember how long, I think that was another day, so we'll call it 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5 days, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 22, 28, 20, that's about 29 days to go from scratch to get a Titan fusion. So, although as you can see I've kicked one off and it's very studiously working its way through the last 30 minutes here, I just don't think I'm going to bother after this one, to be quite honest, because it's not going to be worth it. Hopefully by then, I'll have a full deck of WrestleMania 34 pros and a burgeoning, flourishing, blossoming deck of WrestleMania 34 females, all lined up in a row. In my Road to Glory deck. Wishful thinking, I know, but you've got a dream, haven't you? Some people have all the luck. Some people seem to be pulling WrestleMania 34 pros every time they turn on the game. Like 20 resets, 30 resets, another WrestleMania 34 card. Hasn't happened to me, and quite a few of the guys that I know personally who play the game. But there's plenty of people tweeting out there saying, oh, look at this, I've had another one. And it seems to be coming from the PvPs, so like the Elimination Chamber, which is on right now. That seems to be where people are getting the luck, and also Wild Mode is apparently kicking out a few. So if you're not having much luck or you're due a pull right now, perhaps just have a little dip in there if you're not playing in there at the moment, and just see how your luck holds out. Talking of luck, let's have a laugh. Let's have a laugh and look at this. What do we reckon? Ultra rare? What are we going to get? Ooh, legendary. Ooh. And it's Tej. I've already had him as a pro. Just on the note of, what did I do that for? Egypt. Yeah, actually, while I'm here, a few of you have said, can we see your second account? Because I haven't mentioned Nkyoko. I have shown it a couple of times. This is not an account that I play very often, so I certainly don't do the events with it. But things like the Spring Fusion, certainly when they first came out, I was having a real good crack at it. And when Spring Fusions came out again, I had a go to see if I could get some of those seeds and get a card made. Now I did actually manage to get a card eventually, but it took the first 8 fusions on the Spring Fusions with the seeds didn't give a single pair of boots. It was like, oh, what's the point in this? Where's the point in this? I did eventually get a Monster Shane O'Mac, which for this deck you'll see is, well, I'll actually put it on none. You'll see is the second best male. Now, that Farouk was login bonus from last month. That was for the previous Spring Fusions. I was knocking them out like no tomorrow. I was having a great time with them on this account. But this time round, that's what I got. That's the only card I got from the Spring Fusions this time round for Enkai. And on my main account, Jimbana, I just didn't even bother. What am I doing here? I'm just having a little dabble. So look and see what we've got. Now, if you remember, they've actually taken some of these fusions away, haven't they? So, although that's obviously a new fusion for Enkai on Jimbana, I have virtually all of the fusions, or have made in the past all of the fusions, virtually all the way up to WrestleMania tier, I believe. So all those oldies. There you go again. Look, common 112 out of 112, uncommon 118 out of 118, rares. I've mentioned before there was a lot of season 1 to season 2 transition, so a lot of those haven't carried over. Super rares, I'm working on the ones that you can still pull right now, but there are some that you can't pull anymore. Again, you can see those ones with the gold bars were season 1 to season 2 carryovers. Still got to do Cesaro Fusion, but the others, I think I've got about 5 or 6 super rares to do, and ultra rares I've only got a couple left to do, which I believe is I think it's Edge and Xavier Woods, which are still possible to do. Of course, all these GameStop cards and everything you can't get anymore. So it's a bit of nonsense, a bit of fun. Keeps me off the streets, doesn't it? Keeps me out of trouble. Right, let's go on to ring. Let's go on to Elimination Chamber. That's what I meant to say. Let's go on to Ring Dummy Dim Dom. And as you can see, I've started a little bit of progress on Bazza. It's Baron Corbin, as I'm sure you're well aware by now. You probably got him on the first day it was available. But I'm hoping now. I know it's a bank holiday weekend here in the UK this weekend, and I know I've not got any work lined up, and it's very unlikely anything's likely to come up this weekend. So, in theory, from now, which is nearly 2:30 on Friday afternoon, I should be able to play through pretty much when I want. The only interruptions I'll have will be Ninja Boy demanding his dinner or some trifling matter like that. So, and he's going to have a go to get Baron Corbin, and then he's going to stop. He's not going to bother with Mr. Hardy, because like me, it'll only make a single. I've got to go for it, because of course I need to get through to the heroic side. I need to get to the other side. So, oh jeez, that's giving me a bad run here, isn't it? Okay. My deck again, for those, it always brings a smile to my face when I have people saying, "You got rubbish cards. Your cards are rubbish." When they're looking at me doing Road to Glory or Ring Dom, because certainly Road to Glory and early stages on Ring Dom as well, I've got a lot of cards in there that are just powering up. So you probably noticed there's 2 Luke Harpers there. There's only 2 Luke Harpers, because I need to power them up. So if we plonk him in the middle, I don't worry so much about losing these matches, because it's playing matches for the individual cards that I'm trying to power up. So I obviously do want to win the match, but I don't fret about it too much if I don't, so long as the cards that I'm trying to level up. Shawn Michaels here is another one. Let's just see if I put Shawn. I haven't got much choice here. If I put him there, oh good, he didn't have a right arrow. That's what I wanted to see, and I was pretty sure that AJ would take whatever he could plonk down in the corner. Happy days. Happy days, mate, happy days. So, nice comfortable win. So yeah, my deck is, I think I've got like my best 4 cards in, and then the other 4, might even be the best 3, and then the remainder, there's 1 uncommon card, and then others that I'm levelling up. I've got my Luke Harper to do as a pro. Well, that's about it. The others are just singles that I'm giving some juice to get them ready on the off chance that they become a pro at some stage. Dolph Ziggler is already done. He's fully leveled up and all his matches are played and all his tokens are applied. So he's just waiting for me to get into that heroic mode and get his partner sorted. But yeah, pull-wise, what was my last pull? Last pull was Booker T, which I think I'm pretty sure I told you about in the last video. And seeing as I haven't done a video of this for 3 days, that shows, and I have been playing, it just shows I'm not having quite the same sort of luck that some of you out there are. And talking of videos going up, for those of you who didn't see our review of the Greatest Royal Rumble, because after 3 days WWE took it down, or had it taken down, because we had a 4-second clip of a GIF featuring Titus O'Neil going underneath the ring apron. Even though I've seen plenty of videos of people chucking all sorts of flipping clips in, I have re-edited it and it is back up without the actual clip, just with a still of what went on. And so thank you to those of you who've caught up with it, because I've noticed a few of you have commented saying, oh, I missed it when it first came out, so thanks for re-editing and putting it back up, which makes me feel at least it was worth the effort. Right, we're going to stick Luke Harper up in the top corner. One of my Luke Harpers is all done bar, I think, toughness, and the other one's about 27, 28 matches into most of his stats, so shouldn't be too long now. Certainly by the end of today, I should be able to be looking at Pro Mr. H, which will be my 3rd non-event pro. The Shane O'Mac, what was it, my 2nd? Shane O'Mac, there, I should just look down there, should I? Carl Anderson, the 2 I've got at the moment, and so Harper will be the 3rd. I'm still annoyed about missing out on Jeff Hardy, but as I say, it's my own fault. If I'd allocated my time better, I can't even blame working. I did what I needed to do work-wise, and I'd cleared the decks. I just got distracted too much. I was playing other games. I really do find Road to Glory so boring and so monotonous, and I think because I'd told myself I wasn't going to bother with heroic mode, I kind of didn't really pace myself properly. So when it came to Sunday, it was still easy for me to get there, but of course time started to elapse and you forget, still, even though I've got a fairly healthy Road to Glory deck, you forget that you start hitting 3-pointers and 1-pointers as you're going through these cards. In fact, they seem to have made them harder as we've gone along. So yeah, as I say, hands up, totally my own fault. Can't blame anyone else for that one. So how are you guys doing? Are you hitting heroic mode on this? This is obviously, it's a bit more interesting in that you do need to pay attention to what you're doing. As Road to Glory, you just, for most of it, the most part, you're just sitting there tapping the screen while you're watching TV or something. But I am looking forward to Last Man Standing, or maybe it could be a Last Woman Standing. Who knows? Could be a female, because that's got its fresh challenges, its different challenges. So I'm actually quite looking forward to that. I missed it, having moaned about it when it first arrived, and I think as well, having seen that actually you don't need to spend a fortune on it. I think that was the concern, was seeing all these things that you could spend money on. And yes, if you want to be at the top 150 or so, you're going to need to spend a certain amount, but as you saw with Ninja Boy, he got himself a really good card, and all he'd spent was the credits that he'd saved through login bonuses. So encouraging in that respect, although I am anticipating there'll be a lot more people wanting to play this time around, because those who didn't bother have seen just how good those Triple H cards have become. And let's stick Sean up there, because he needs to play a few matches. Also, just a little bit, I suppose, of family news. We are considering moving out of London, which would be a big wrench for me. Obviously, my heart's here in London, and my football team's here in London. But it would just make life a bit easier. Like, let's use Triple H. Let's see him in action. We want to get to like a nicer part of the country, so somewhere where there's a bit of fresh air, maybe a bit of a sea breeze, something like that. Because I've been in the city a long time, and it's perhaps about time that I just step back from all the madness that goes on, sort of 20 minutes that way. And because I'm doing so much more work from home these days, there's no reason why I can't actually just pick up my guitar and move on. So we're having a little look around, just having a little peek at a few areas. Got a couple of areas in mind, but if we do move, I'm sure I shall bore you to tears with it all when it comes time for that to happen. But a YouTube reason for mentioning that is, you probably notice, we don't have a very expensive setup here. This is just very much the corner of one room, and it's still very done on a very cheap and cheerful basis. It's edited on free software. It's filmed on an iPhone. It's an iPhone that's filming me right now. We did have a camera at one stage, but the iPhone's just so much easier and does just as good a job for the setup we have. It's edited on a MacBook, as I say, on free software. So let's plonk him in there. He's safe in there, isn't he? So it's actually not what you would call the most professional of setups, and it doesn't make streaming easier either. Although I can, I have got the wherewithal to set it all up. It's a bit difficult if you've got other people floating in and out of the room. And also I can only do it at certain times because Ninja Boy goes to bed at sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish, and obviously comes home from school at about sort of 4:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30-ish. So it doesn't leave us a big window for doing videos together, and streaming, by the time I set everything up, it's virtually time for him to go to bed. If we move somewhere new, the idea is I would need somewhere to work, because as I say, I work from home, so I need an office space. It doesn't have to be big, but just somewhere that I can work, and I can turn that into also a makeshift YouTube studio and have a few things set up permanently, so I don't have to set everything up every single time we're going to record something. It can just be there, set up, and we can just sit down and get on with it. But also, if I have it far enough away from where everyone's sleeping, I can perhaps do some late night streaming, which is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, particularly when we've got events on. But right now I can't do it, because I'd wake everyone up, or I'd keep them awake, because this is a 2-bedroom place in London, and as you can probably imagine, in London space is a premium. So it's too small a place for me to do that without people a couple of rooms down hearing what I'm doing. So I'm quite sort of looking forward to the idea of moving somewhere that's a lot healthier than the city, and on top of that, getting myself set up somewhere where we can perhaps do a bit more live streaming. We've only dabbled at it in the past, to be honest, haven't we? A little bit of live ninja wrestling, these Ninja Mania, a little bit of SuperCard here and there, but nothing too extensive, so that could be a project for the future. And talking of projects, I am going to start working on a series which I will let you know more details about a bit later. It's not a game, it's something a bit different. Something a bit different from Big Jim. But I will let you know more about that as and when I actually start working on it. I've sketched out a few ideas and things that I need to tackle. But again, it's finding the time to actually sit down, get things set up, and actually put together something that I'm pleased with. I'm not saying I'm a perfectionist. You can see I'm not a perfectionist. But I do like to do things properly, and I don't want to just chuck any old rubbish up. So that's a watch this space type thing. I didn't really tell you anything there, did I? Just sort of a bit of a tease, a bit tantalising, but didn't actually tell you anything there. Right, I'm going to call it a day here, because I've probably spoken enough for now, and time is moving on, and I need to be. Oh, good. There's a nice another piece of the puzzle. So up to 7. I've got to pick up Ninja Boy shortly from his school. So there we go. So how are you doing? Have you done? Are you finished? I'm sure you haven't finished all the way to heroic mode, but is your target the big man, Jeff? Or are you just going for the WrestleMania card? Or are you in the lower tiers? There's one other thing, actually. I haven't shown you Enkayoko. Somebody did say on the comments on the last video, could I perhaps just do a video playing as Enkayoko? Well, I could do that if you want, because I know there's plenty of you who aren't in the higher tiers or indeed the top tiers. So if you want me to do a couple of episodes just playing with Enkayoko and showing you what I'm doing and King of the Ring and that type of thing, let me know in the comments down below. So there we have it, people. Have a cracking weekend. You know what to do if you like the video. Whack me a few likes down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. There's all the social media with Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Until I see you next time, you stay cool.